Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All good.
For 27 years they've run here. So I look at all of these across the board to see it's obviously a chance for us just to add our support and our shoulder to make this better.
Positive, but I think for Hoosiers, people here, it's even more true.
It was an important decision for our family, especially at this time. Over the course of business through the years, we've always looked at strategic opportunities, things we might be able to do to grow and expand our capabilities here. We're a 169, almost 170-year-old business, and we've been in a lot of different businesses during that time. We've been distillers, we've been brewers, we've been grocers, we've been produce, canned goods, just about everything, financials, utilities. But in 1945, in fact, about 2 weeks, 10 days from now, it'll be 74 years since that last transition of stewardship took place, and we're very proud to have come together the last several months, I think, to make some very important decisions. One about an iconic asset that the family cares very deeply about as well, and that's Clabber Girl baking powder. But now this one is extra special because to all of us, because we've all grown up around it. Nancy and I, anyway, we came home from the hospital to a home just right down the street here. So we've literally grown up around it. Our kids and grandkids have done the same. So bittersweet, but very exciting for us because we know that we're passing the torch to an individual who has created an organization that is not only dynamic, but it's ideally suited, I think, to take over this stewardship. A corporation that is family involved, much like ours, but with a track record that is really without compare. So we're very excited to be in a place where, our process took us to a point where we as a family all agreed we needed to have a conversation with Roger Penske. And so I approached him at the final race of the season, not wanting to distract from the task at hand, which was bringing home another championship, but I wanted to wish him well on the grid, and I just simply said that I'd like to meet with him and talk about stewardship. He got a very serious look on his face, and I followed up after he clinched this championship with an email, and then another email the next morning, and we set it up. I invited Mark to join us for that meeting, and kudos to both organizations who worked very closely together, very quickly. It was a pretty easy, not easy by any means, but this isn't their first rodeo, or your first rodeo, so they were able to execute around diligence very quickly, and it led to an announcement that miraculously, not many things are kept under wraps around here, but this was fairly well contained, and we were able to really, I think, present this to the world this morning. So that's kind of the way it came about, and we're just very thankful for the opportunity to be here today and to work towards this closing. Well, it is emotional, and I try to keep my composure. I tend to get a little choked up, but sitting up there with Roger and Mark, I had solace in that, knowing that the family had come to these decisions in unity And we're all excited for the opportunity to Roger and Penske Corp and the new Penske Entertainment Corp to ingrain themselves in this, because it's a legendary facility, in part made that way due to his competitive efforts and all the people that come out each and every year to support it. The Speedway means so much to everybody that comes here. It means an awful lot to our family, but it really is a special day that we're all happy to finally have here, and who knows what we'll go home and do this evening, but tomorrow's a new day, and each day going forward is going to be brighter for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Indianapolis and Indiana have a new corporate citizen coming on board in the new year, and it'll be fun to watch. For me, it will be fun to watch Roger, his enthusiasm. Based on some of the things I've heard today, he's going to be making some personal changes so that he can fit a new venture into his schedule, and we'll look forward to the next 5 or 10 years of working right alongside of him in the community wherever we can to help make this place more special. Absolutely. I mean, you just can't flip a switch and be done with it. It's one of those things. Well, I don't know. I'm anxious to see his top 10 list of things. I'm going to go home and prepare my own top 10 list, and maybe when he shares his, we'll see if they line up. But, I think seeing our team that's in place here now fit into this new entity and under this umbrella of Penske Corp, I think it'll be a good fit. I think the DNA that is here is compatible, and hopefully we're going to continue to build on the momentum that has been taking place these last few years, and it'll just accelerate exponentially.
Well, I think I really got to go back to 1951 when my dad brought me here as a young man, 14 years old, and think about how the Indy fever got into my blood, and I think we competed here, we had great success, and to think today that we announced the stewardship changing from the Hulman Company to the Penske organization and all of our people is just amazing. An iconic event, what it's done for the state of Indiana, the region, the economic development. We need to be sure that we press on with that and make this bigger and better. Well, the Hulman George family has been the bedrock, of the Speedway for 70-some years, and starting with Tony Hulman when he bought the track. But it's amazing, and the family, I was so happy that 100% support of our purchase. I know them all. I look forward to working with them, and to me, it's a time of transition. It's not happy in some ways. On the other hand, I think it's going to be beneficial for everyone. Well, I want to thank the fans first for the support during the 2019 season. Our media was up. Certainly the new NBC partner did a great job both on the networks and on cable. The fan base has grown from a social media perspective. The interest has been amazing. So we got momentum today. We need to build on that, and I think the opportunity here with the Speedway, because this is the anchor of the sport, the anchor of IndyCar, and to me what we need to do is make these races in these other cities and other venues just grow bigger and bigger with that support.
Awesome. I have to say first, I think it's a historic day. It's bigger than important, and to have seen how the Hulman George family has embraced this, unanimously wanted to make this agreement, and Roger's incredible enthusiasm for it. It has been a real treat for me. We can't wait to get this deal closed and to get on with the future. We've enjoyed every bit of the past. We think we've made good progress in the last several years. But Roger Penske and his organization bring the perfect future stewardship in my mind. Nobody, I think, other than maybe the Hulman George family, has poured more of their lives into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and IndyCar racing. So it's absolutely in his DNA. And yet at the same time, we'll have the chance to have brilliant, fresh eyes, look at everything and think again about how to grow further faster. And Roger and his company have enormous resources and access. So I just think this is a historic day, a transition. I know Roger's hope is and belief is that however many decades from now, members of his family will be looking back at the stewardship that they've provided for this great property, and I have no doubt they'll be proud of what they accomplish. We had looked for years at what are the best strategic options for us as a company. That led to the sale of Clabber Girl because we thought it wasn't core to the racing business. We talked about lots of different approaches to accessing more capital, which could have been investor groups, other limited partnerships, and the like. But then when Roger said to Tony George and myself, I'm really interested, it really decided the direction, because here was the person who could provide the comfort that the Hulman George family would need in knowing that their babies would be really well taken care of going forward.